Hello and welcome back to RailRoads Online. So today we are taking the old number 6 James J. Hill and we have hooked up 10 raw iron beam cars to it. Going to attempt to make the run all the way out to the iron works. We definitely need iron out there, running on the, well, not on the low side, we're on the it's empty side. So we are going to do a brake check here, being we found one brake that was on. Train was pulling a little weird, that's why. After we had some rail issues with this whole setup, so now it seems we got everything back to running just fine, or rolling just fine is a better way to put it. I guess we are gonna head out and see if we can get this bad boy up the hill. Hopefully we can do it with one locomotive. Not exactly sure, to be honest. I was trying to think, and I don't know that last time we ran this train, I don't think we had all 10 cars full. So we'll have to see how this goes. Ease it on down the track, or start easing it down the track. We got quite a ways, I guess. Well, whatever. Got a couple of switches we got to make sure are going, and if we could get to it on the move, that'd be even better. Being this, is it a fairly steep grade in here, or coming up here? I mean, it's set to a quote unquote 3% climb, though, you know, excuse me, we have all learned enough to know that, you know, we did not lay that to actually be a consistent 3% grade. So we know that we probably have some variable track in there that's over 3%. So doing the exact numbers would be a pretty tough chore, I think. So we'll just give it the go and see what happens. Class 70 handles most things like a champ, so hopefully we can do 10 iron cars. Looks like it shouldn't be a problem. We're picking up speed and the whole thing's on the hill, so definitely sounds like it's got some pull behind it, but it's doing it with no problem, so we look like we're good there. Go ahead and bump that up just a touch. We know that these wood bridges have probably more variable than any of the rest of the parts of the track, so with that and the turn, we'll go ahead and up it. Got to be careful with this as it comes off of there. We've had some definite wiggles and giggles, I guess, with the train. See, you'll see it right there. Whatever the transition is in between there, we've never had a full-fledged derailment right there, but we have had our fair share of wiggles. You know, we could call that Jello corner, and it would only be accurately named, because you definitely get some jiggle and some wiggle, if you know what I mean. It's a ball of jello. Gorgeous shots as we climb out of the Smelter Valley. This was the first kind of awing part of the game, when you get into this valley and you're like, wow. Just stunningly good looking the game really is. The depth to the view is pretty insane. You know, games have come a long way, obviously, but this one definitely has it in the looks department. everything's been running smooth today. We had a few issues yesterday, obviously, or the day before. Maybe it was 2 days ago. I can't even remember now. But we have been running smooth today. No problems, no mythical derailments, and no cars coming unattached. So, have nothing but good things to report today. Back in business. So we had some one-day glitches. I was trying to think about it after that, and there was one other day where we had trains that just mythically derailed and actually flipped over. It was when we were up at the coal mine on the perfectly flat track. We weren't anything. We were just filling cars. And the 3 or 4 cars had all of a sudden disconnected themselves. And as they were rolling backwards, 2 of the cars decided to derail completely and flip themselves over. But I played around with trying to get everything re-railed, and then just said forget it and reset the game, and never had another problem. Now, yes, the last time I was shooting here, I think the day before yesterday, I reset and everything and was still having problems. So I don't know. I'm just writing it off to a glitch day, I guess. Although I did have a viewer explain what he thought was maybe the problem with the way that the track's built in, and if that process or the way that the cars load in, and maybe if something got slowed down with the process there, being that it kind of produces my understanding is that it produces the locomotive and then the cars, and then it pins them all. And I suppose if something got delayed in your load-in process there, the theory is that, maybe your cars come unhooked because the pins don't get put in time, where if anything's pulling the cars away from the locomotive, that would cause some derailment issues, or not derailment, but coming detached issues. So that seems to make sense. I don't know that that's what it is, but it sure does make sense that if that's how the game loads in your stuff, like the link and the pins are the last thing, then if that process got slowed down somehow, it's possible maybe that the trains or the rolling stock could roll away before it gets pinned effectively, and maybe that does make sense. So was suggested that if you tie down brakes maybe every couple of cars, especially if you're storing something on an incline or something, that could prevent that kind of problem from happening. And yeah, you'd obviously have to release some brakes, but would be a solution to that problem. So just figured I'd move that along, as it seemed like a good idea. I talked to a few people and see that it's kind of a common problem, I guess. People somewhat, I don't want to say complaining, but people voicing that happens to them on load-in, the cars detaching sometimes. And maybe that's a solution that works for you. As I think if I was to store anything on an incline anymore, I would probably do the same thing. At least lock down like front and back brakes, not just the front car. Which I think tends to be the habit, is you spin down the front car just in case, but then you don't really do anything to the back. And screwing down those back brakes might be a good safety measure, if you will. So I had that tip thrown out by a viewer, and we figured we'd push it down the line because I thought it seemed like a reasonable explanation for what could have happened, and a decent solution. It's faster to unscrew a couple of brakes than it is to re-rail cars. That we all know. And I know there's a few people that have been frustrated by that issue, so definitely worth taking a look at, I guess, would be my take. So the Class 70, back to showcasing the Class 70, and 10 iron, the raw iron, no problem. Came chugging right up that. I don't know that I would suggest doing a heck of a lot more cars unless you like that loading process. It gets to be long. I know it's long enough for me. I do not. I don't really have any interest in doing anything much longer than 10 cars, quite frankly. Like I've said before, I do stick with the 116 for the logs, but that's just because it presents itself as a one and done. Fill it up in one go. Nothing else really you get a big benefit out of running much more than 10, I guess is how I see it, not to outweigh the headache of loading it. Even these ones on the back get to be, that's all I care to load is 10. Like I said, if I was playing multiplayer more often, then maybe that's something I'll look into. So after we get the update and things run smoother, maybe with more people, it would definitely be something I would take a look into. But solo running, I think 10 is just going to be kind of my limit line. Excluding the one setup, I really don't have much intention of going past that. Looking forward to getting these ones out there. 10 cars. Somehow you only get credit for 3 of these, which is really weird to me because it's not like there's 3 beams on the train. I mean, there's 5 beams in each row, so there's really 15 beams on each car, but pretty sure it credits you for 3 if I am not mistaken. So we'll get credit for 30, which I think the Ironworks holds 100. Yeah, 3 runs isn't that bad of an operation. As compared into other loads that we have, other industries that we have anyway. A nice close-up view. See our engineer in there, a little too tall for the cab. This guy, I don't know. I mean, between me and you, they should size that guy a little bit better than he is. Call it a height requirement to be higher or whatever, but that guy is slightly too tall. For the position he's in. I'm sure one day we will get some customizable character type of options rather than just the one old man in a suit. One can only hope anyway. I would assume we have a lot in store for changes in the upcoming game when all is said and done. So, this is kind of the base game to try to give us something to get familiar with and see how it grooves, early access. So, by the time we hit access, who knows, maybe we have some customizable character options. At least some clothing options or something would be nice. by the time we get into too big of multiplayer groups, just because, you know, telling one Joe from the next will be kind of hard to do as it currently sits, but these guys have done a really good job with, you know, presentation of the game and stuff like that, so I'm sure into the future we'll see plenty of solid options. You know, for an early access, test it, feel it, beta, here you go. This game is, it has a pretty complete feel to the game, to be honest. If this was all you ever got, I don't know that too many people would be complaining they got short-handed or anything. So, one can only imagine where they plan to take us down the road or down the rail, however you want to look at it. But I'm sure we will have some pretty cool options, and definitely good-looking options, I'm sure, along the way. So, one thing I will give them credit for is at least they haven't thrown a bunch of half janky, everything's messed up stuff at us and said, here, test this out for us. So, you know, we've gotten a pretty complete and solid game for the most part. Obviously, some glitches here or there along the way everybody's experienced with an early access game, but I have to be honest when I say this one has had very few for me, so I've been very happy with that up until the current day. So even where I was frustrated with things the other day, I mean, you know, if that's a one-day experience, that's things happen, man. That definitely doesn't change the idea of how I feel about the game. So, all right, here we go. Beams, which iron beams. As much as I would love to say, see, they don't even make a dent. I mean, what, $50 or something for the car? 45 probably, $15 a piece or something. I mean, these things are, you know, this is just on the whole off to work we go status. There's nothing glorious or fun about racking these up. Hopefully we actually get some to stick around instead of all just disappearing. Let's see where we're at with that switch up here. We got a switch problem up here. I don't know why that coal, I don't know why it's laying out here. You know what I mean? You got coal right there to tell you it's a coal drop off, and you got a big huge pile right behind that. So I don't really understand the need for that extra. Maybe it's because they don't want you doing something funky with the docks. I mean, they did that with the iron. They lay that one pile of iron just at the end of the dock, or the docks down there, so you can't do anything jiggy and try to just back up over what you're not supposed to be able to. I mean, maybe if you elevated it, you could pull it off. Alright, so there we go. Now it looks like it's, what, wood we're... Whatever, that thing ain't gonna go anywhere. It's wood we're out of. That's why we're stacking up raw iron for a change. But, so, okay. Some more iron, some more wood. We're down to quarter stock on the coal. But we will call this one a win. The Class 70 doing what she does. Never coming up short, that's for sure. This one just gets the job done. So there we go. Class 70, 10 cars of iron up the hill and delivered. Call that one an episode. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Those subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel grow. Y'all have yourselves a great day.